Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. It's quite far from where I live, but it's a nice trip to see another city or another center where a lot of people go to enjoy life. Anyways, I would like to start, sorry, with saying feelings are source of opportunities as well. But I need to ask you, how do you feel now? Do you feel something now? I hope you do. Excited? Great. Anything else? Other feelings you feel now at this moment? Happy, nervous? Yes. So those are feelings, emotions, and we live by it every day. But have you ever felt scared, annoyed, disappointed, or maybe jealous, or angry, anxious, ashamed? Like you don't want to see people, you're ashamed. Or just simply bored, or maybe sad. Well, that's the last thing we don't want to feel, right? Those are all negative feelings. But let me start my story. 20 years ago, I got admitted in this prestigious university in the Philippines. It's called the University of Santo Tomas. And of course, I was very happy that time. That was my feeling. Not a lot of students can get in this university, although they have the capacity of around 25,000 students. Yeah. Well, I took up Bachelor of Fine Arts and Design, major in painting. And during my first year, one of the professors of mine, who's the daughter of a famous artist in the Philippines, told me while we were drawing outdoors of this campus. This is a huge campus, so we were drawing outside. And then she asked me, she told me, Jensen, you actually remind me of how I was when I was your age. So then I replied to her, so you mean I'm gonna be just like you when I grow up? So I asked her that question, as if I grew up that much since that time. Right? I didn't really grow up that much. But then she replied again. She said, well, it's up to you. So I felt like, okay, well, she doesn't really know how to answer me. So, anyways, it made me feel uncertain in a way because, she's the professor and I was hoping I would get some clarity about my future, but that's not the case. And it's never going to be the case. Yeah. So from then on, I did not know that, yeah, everything I will feel will be very substantial to all the paintings that I will be creating since then. And then in 2009, so I was still in the Philippines that time, I got an offer to be an exclusive artist of a gallery owned by this famous celebrity doctor slash artist slash gallery owner businessman in the Philippines. But then, that time I just started teaching at a university in the Philippines, which is also one of my dreams. I wanted to become an art professor when I was in college. So when he told me that, I felt encouraged because, you know, wow, that this is happening. But at the same time, I was skeptical. I was thinking, wow, 5 years is such a long time. There's so many things that can happen in 5 years. And do I really want to do that in 5 years? So I was 25 years old, by the way, that time. And so what did I do? I did not sign the contract, but then he kept on buying some of my works every time I create something, even if it's just a sketch, it's a painting. He bought it from me. So he collected a lot of my works when I was in Manila. And then um, I felt like he was trying to convince me that, one day my name will be big, because he told me, you are the female counterpart of this artist whose paintings were sold or were auctioned for millions of dollars already. But then he's like way ahead of me. So he was looking at me like I was the female version of this artist. But then I said, like, okay, it's a little bit confusing. So I felt very confused. Should I stay teaching to become an art professor, which is one of my dreams as well, or become a really big star in just a snap? Well, that dominated that fact. But I felt like I said, I don't think we all have the same path. Our paths are all unique. It can be different. It's designed purposely for our own strengths and potentials. It can be different for you, it can be different for me. So if you're trying to convince me that I will go on the same direction and experience the same experiences that that artist took to go to that level, then I'm not that convinced. And I'm not sure if that is the same exact path I want to take. How did it happen that each of those negative feelings that I had became the source of opportunities and turned into positive things, right? So let's continue the story. So I left the Philippines and I went to Vietnam. After 1 month, I found an art studio and then I started teaching there. And eventually, I did my very first solo exhibition in Vietnam, not in the Philippines. I did several group exhibitions in the Philippines, but not a solo one. But everyone was quite surprised because they were telling me, Jensen, you just got here. How did you do that? We've been here forever, and it felt like it's so difficult to do anything over here. So how were you able to do that? So they were also surprised. As surprised as I am, because the room was jam-packed of people on the opening night of my first solo exhibition outside of my home country. And then I also started teaching at an international school. So I signed their 2-year contract, and I brought the students to do exhibitions outside of the campus as well. We did some auctions of their paintings, we did performance art, and we also did some fashion shows where we designed recyclable materials. We designed clothes made of recyclable materials. So this is all the staff and students who joined the fashion show. Well, and most of all, I also organized art exhibitions in Vietnam involving the Filipino artists. So around 30 Filipino artists came to Vietnam to exhibit their works. So here we were at it's like a French gallery setting over there where the Ho Chi Minh City Fine Arts Museum is. And then I left Vietnam. In those 2 years, I had so many nice things and nice memories to share, but then I still left Vietnam. I thought like that was not the exact feeling that I can be satisfied with. Even though I did so many things, I felt like there's always something out there. There's always something bothering me or pulling me to go somewhere else and explore. So I went to China. Hello, Jensen, welcome to China. And this is the very first artwork I did. Okay, it's a sculpture. It's a clay sculpture, and it was in Foshan in Guangdong. So I was in China, but not yet in Beijing. So I was having a relentless, type of work before. And then coming to China, it was a little bit laid back. In Guangdong, I wasn't really happy. I felt disappointed and depressed. So all of those struggles and all of those anxiety, I think you can maybe feel from this work. Or you feel something else. Can you tell me if you feel something else? What do you think was I feeling that time, that moment? Sorry? Hopeless? Yes? Relief? Relief? Yes? Missing. Missing, yes. Good. Very good. I needed somebody or someone to comfort me. Yes, because I felt so alone. I felt so far away. First of all, we were living in the middle of nowhere. So literally, I was far away from everything. There were maybe 2 or 3 foreign restaurants, and coming to another country is always a culture shock. And to be, part of the community or the expat community is always a struggle. But then, one day, one of my Chinese colleagues brought me to this pottery room. And I was so surprised. Why? I've been here for 2 months. You never brought me here. I didn't know you have this. And then, I just started creating, and then here's the artwork. Yes. So my emotions then from 0 went to 10 right away. So, anyways, my journey continued in Beijing. And I was so excited to be here in a new place and meeting new people. But then at the beginning, I wasn't meeting so much yet. But since it's a different environment, I was really so happy and excited. So that feeling and that new environment gave me some focus and made me look forward to what I truly hope for. So this is the first exhibition in Beijing, which is my second solo exhibition, also happened in Beijing. Okay. Also, the new people made me start with my palette knife technique. And this is a portrait of my husband, who was, of course, my boyfriend that time. That was in 2015. This is the very first painting where I used the palette knife technique. So you saw earlier my works were quite realistic, right? Here, they're more on contemporary expressionism. It changed. you can describe how it changed. I can give you an explanation by how it changed, but you can also have your own description based on my story. But this is the very first artwork using the palette knife technique. And on that same year, I met the former ambassador to the Philippines, Miss Erlinda Basilio, former ambassador to China from the Philippines. And the embassy invited me to present my paintings to the ASEAN Ladies Circle gathering. So I was very, very honored of that opportunity. The guests were the ambassadors of the Southeast Asian nations and their wives and some madams from the embassies. So because of those feelings, one thing led to another. My curiosity also in Beijing led me to many explorations and people. When a friend of my husband knew that I'm an artist, he said, I have a friend, he's an artist, you should meet him. So we went to his house, and then I was in awe. I was like, wow, you're doing all these works? And then I showed him my works. I said, can I touch this? Can I touch your oil paints, your brushes? And then I did. And then I said, maybe next time I'll come back to do your portrait. You just need to sit down and I'll paint you. So he sat down and I painted him. But then after that, I met a friend of him through his exhibition. This is Miss Lady Lu Ye, who's a soprano singer, and she sang for Pope Francis' birthday. But she's very down to earth. So from time to time, when she's coming to Beijing, we see each other. And last time we wanted to see each other in Italy, but we were both very busy, so it did not happen. But she came to Beijing just recently, so we saw each other and had nice talks. And after 1 year, this painting was done. This is, for me, the most beautiful self-portrait I've ever done. I've done self-portraits before, but they're made of using brush, and they're in realistic form. But the artist actually came from all the disappointments and struggles of that time at my work. So I encourage everyone to just accept whatever you feel. It's not gonna be a happy feeling all the time, but from all those negative feelings, maybe you can come up with something, right? And this painting actually became the start of the creation of the art book called Jensen Moreno, The Art Journey, which was released in 2017. And in this book, you will find the painting called The Gift. This is a portrait of my daughter when she was 10 years old. And The Beauty Queen, this is a portrait of the former Miss World 1973. She's from the Philippines, and I met her there through an exhibition and through my former mentor. And recently, that's her with at our exhibition in Manila. And recently, I just had 3 very successful solo exhibitions in Beijing, which I'm very, very thankful of. This portrait of Rembrandt, it's at the back, actually, you can see it for real. I went to Leiden in the Netherlands, and I went to his hometown, and I saw where he was painting, I saw where he studied, and I felt so great because I said, like, I just used to see his paintings on the books. I went to museum there and I saw all his paintings, and it was so overwhelming. I was just studying his techniques from a book. I was in a corner of the library in my university. Whenever there are no people around, I would just sit down on a very, very end corner and just look on pages of the books of this European artist. So it was such an overwhelming feeling to see a lot of his works. And so I came back home to my husband's house and I said, I want to paint Rembrandt. So there is Rembrandt. And, well, you're familiar with him, I believe. This painting, when I was doing this in Beijing, China Radio International was filming me because they want to use my story to support the Belt and Road Forum during that time. So that painting was used for that specific purpose, to promote the Belt and Road Forum, but I do not have anything to say about politics or anything else. And I was very, very honored and happy to be the one to represent the Philippines in terms of that as well. So I was talking about the three very successful exhibitions recently here in Beijing. This was in May of 2018, the Hall of Fame. Some of you guys were there. You saw the exhibition. And it was really fun. I met a lot of interesting people. I got connected to some high-profile people in Beijing, which is such a big privilege. And second one was world class. This was featured at the ASEAN Ladies Circle gathering in September last year. And yeah, the same as what happened in 2015, it was featured for the ambassadors of the Southeast Asian nation, but this time it was a solo exhibition. So there, all the madams and my paintings on the background. And the last one I did was phenomenal. So they told me the interpretation of phenomenal in Chinese is extraordinary. So it's about living your life extraordinarily. So we are grateful that our dear Ambassador Chito Santa Romana was there, and Poly International Plaza was the main sponsor of the exhibition. Okay, so it was also a fun and very successful event. And you can see the paintings that were there, and some fans trying to post, and it went a little bit viral on social media. And then a lot of articles were also written, and interviews happened here in Beijing and Tianjin. And yes, so write-ups. So from all of those hard work, finally, I felt compensated because I got awards. And those awards, I don't really consider them like, you know, you can stop now because you got awards. No, it just made me propel more and do more and think more and achieve more. Not just for myself, but for my fellow Filipinos, to represent the Philippines in the world, for my family, my friends. And it's such a big achievement. So all these things led from one to another, and I did a speaker series as well with the Filipino community and my school. And this is a painting you saw from the poster. It's Mariposa. And the painting, which is now owned by the Philippine Embassy, I donated this for the celebration of our national hero's birthday. So this actually was the time when I was painting Mr. Wang Jianan. He's one of the richest artists that's still alive in China. And what can I say? All these experiences led me to creating all these fabulous works. So anything you feel, any experience, any thoughts, any ideas, any concept that come into your mind, don't block it. Just let it be. Just let the people also come to you. Don't block them. That's my husband. One day, you don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen. So, and this is my family. That's my friend Miata, an African friend. I got all these invitations from all these events. That's my 15-year-old daughter and my 1-year-old daughter. And there was a Filipino community event just last March where my paintings were also exhibited, and I donated a painting for a raffle draw. So the winner was very happy. And this was when I was painting in Austria, and all my trips and travels. So, because the feelings you have experienced can make you create something wonderful, and the creations you made can give you back a different feeling that can lead your life to happiness, contentment, bravery, and even success. So, don't stop feeling. Appreciate what you feel, whatever it is. Thank you so much.